Welcome to the Conference of Movements, com26b.com. We've been broadcasting since November 9 to create a blueprint for the future of humanity. And today we are going to create a blueprint for water. This is the Water is Life Conference, and our goal is to create a water blueprint that allows everybody on Earth to have fresh water and also to restore the oceans and the lakes and the rivers and all of the waters of the world. This blueprint that we're creating together will take 1 year time, so we're just planting the seed to create this blueprint. And today we are honored to have with us Yanling Duan. She is a Y investor, social artist, systematic Imagineer, and an ordained Taoist shaman. That's a lot combining in one person of all those different talents. And she can talk a little bit about herself. And she's doing a meditation for us. And Yanling, take it away.
Thank you, David, and thanks everyone who's here and now. And my name is Yanling. Today we enter this 1 hour's, I would say, sacred digital space, and I'm sending the connection signals from Ibiza, Spain, physically. However, I believe that our collective being are connected cross dimension, cross timelines, and cross lineages, and that's part of the reason I'm here. So whoever tuned in this platform, I believe there's many nations warriors, social catalysts, systematic changers, and together with tech wizards and healing artists, all of us ask questions. Things are going this direction for so long, and what shall we do? And one of my tagline for Davos Block Base, which we've been initiating movement, can have some kind of answer, starting with, can we imagine the great return? What is the great return? And where we can be really united. So today is a very auspicious day. Many people understand that it is Lakshmi, the prosperity goddess, guarded day, the holiday of the light. However, very few, I believe, and it's part of a reason I would like to be here to share. It is also Han Yi Jie. It's one of the three biggest honoring festival in Chinese tradition to honor the great ancestors. And I've been talking to David before as a global citizen, planetary supernode, working on really in quite cross-cultural realms. I would like to highlight that Chinese is one of the biggest indigenous people group. As far as time can recall, this is a land cultivated and preserved, inherited the ultimate ancient wisdom together with many other traditions and nations. So today I would like to honor this space with all our ancient traditions usually do, starting to honor solar god, lunar gods, stellar gods, and also our great ancestors. Go all the way back to the ancestral spirit. So I will invite one of my dear friend partner here and to take us with the company of the crystal chime sound. And if you feel called to enter the space, I will offer one of the downloaded ancestral prayer to honor this time and space and this very unique union. And in the spirit and intentions of decode the spirit of water. the true essence of the great ancestors passed on in pulsating life forms without showing its shapes or forms, cannot be seen or taught, but it contains all there is. The origin is the great ancestor's birthplace. The great ancestor is the beginning of the beginning. The great ancestors is alive in our inheritance. The great ancestor is behind all rebirths along the lifelines. The great ancestors designs all encounters and interconnections. The great ancestors nurtures all family lives. Let me salute to you as your children. Let me bow to you as your grandchildren. Let me look up to you, the great ancestor. There's only one human family tree. There's no other family here. May you bless us, children, grandchildren, to fulfill your wish on earth of us enjoying reunion of our family.大祖灵现，众灵归坛。Whoever tunes in at this moment with this topic of spirit of water must be familiar with Dr. Emoto's work. The water knows the answer. It was probably one of the most important first steps in our modern past century to discover how such a simple magic, the frequency, the vibration, the mesmerizing shape and forms of a single water drop can be changed by such a subtle influence like a language. It is a scientific research, but behind it, there's so much more. There's a great intelligence in water. not in a traditional sense of intelligence as we know it, but this flow, spontaneous awareness that rests in its own nature. That is a mystery. The waters on the womb is a great mystery already. And then think about it, entire of lifetime, so much of our life is consists of water. We all know that. Isn't that the best way to decode the mystery of life through study the body, mind, and spirit of water? As a former curator, at this very moment, across in Asia in Shanghai, Shanghai Biennale is hosting Body of Water, inviting architects, designers, artists, innovators to tackle what is in water, what we can do to purify water, to raise awareness about importance of water, and to find solutions for the water issues on the planet. As someone working here, I would like to invite all of us to dive into another aspect, the other side of the coin, the spirit of the water. How? Again, since I introduced myself as a Taoist ordained, we would say Shixiong, I will invite anyone who are interested in Taoist effortless living, Wu Wei Zhi Dao, to use water as a symbol to understand this unspeakable Tao. According to this Taoist framework of thinking, it's hardly a religion or dogma or even theory. It is pretty much just a very deep, profound wisdom that distilled from the unspeakable. Lao Tzu mentioned water represents 7 virtues of Tao. It almost contains that we can use water to understand this unspeakable. What are the 7 virtues? I would like to take that time, invite you to dive into the unspeakable water. Tao Te Ching is one of the second most translated book, but least understood one. It takes us 30 years to practice Tai Chi. We can say barely graduate. It takes us lifetimes and lifetimes to understand. So thanks to water can give us such a graspable concept to understand. So we use Tao Te Ching as a mantra. So whoever there are interested in this unspeakable, when speaking, I would like you to be embracing the sound of this ancient text, similar as Indian mantra you normally listen and chant. 居善地，心善缘，与善人，言善信，正善治，事善能，动善时。The first virtue of the spirit of water, 居善地. Water coming from heaven, at least the place nearest to heaven, top of the mountain, and is willingly go all the way down, 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 down. Humble, going down, passing everywhere, benefits to anywhere anyone come across her way or his way. Virtue 1, 居善地. You may go down, you may go low, but that's where you are successful because you accomplish your mission, enter to the ocean at the end. By going down, not climbing up. Virtue 2, 心甚渊. Heart benefits when we are still, and water can contain the most profound volume. Everything within. The deeper you go, the more quiet you become. Virtue 2, how to embrace and how to be deep. Even be silent when you go deep. Spirit of water, virtue 3, 与善人. To be
Hello?
What happened?
There seems to be have some kind of a break in the transmission with Yanling, the one. So we have to wait till she comes back on. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, I can't see. My screen is black. Can you see me?
No, it's black also.
Is
Maybe
that something that Alice might need to do?
I don't know.
Should I log
Maybe
out and log back in? I'm going to log
yes,
out.
please. Yes, maybe there's something wrong. Yes. So as you've heard about the water, water contains many mysteries, and we thank Yanling, ordained Buddhist monk, for sharing that with us. And she's going to come back right after. We're having some technical difficulties with a break in the transmission, but we'll resume very shortly. And not only about the mysteries of water, because the conference itself is called Water is Life. And we cannot live without water. There's no human being that can live without water. And we take it for granted sometimes about the power and the importance of water in our daily lives, because it's always there. But there are situations in some countries that have droughts. And during those times, you can see many people dying and find out water, the importance of water in people's lives. Also, water is not only important in people's lives, but it is part of Mother Earth. So Mother Earth, you can say the blood of Mother Earth is water that flows through her and gives everybody else, nurtures us, and give us life. And also,
Hi.
hopefully, hi Sherry, you came back on. Well, I was just sharing the importance of water. Yanling is her transmission dropped off, but we'll
Oh,
wait
no.
till she comes back on. And Sherry Lewis is one of the three peacemakers, and we're just discussing the spirit of water from your tradition. What do you know about the spirit of water, the water itself, the energy and the water, Sherry?
Well, I believe in, hopefully, a lot of traditions. It's seen how vital water is. For us, it is a part of life. It is a life source. So, um, yeah. And without our water, what do we have? You know, we have no life, period, without water, no existence. So we do need to look into our water quality on a global level. I really appreciate what was being spoken about and spoken of on looking at water quality and the people that are coming together in a good way that are also in the technology industry to help resolve some of the issues that are going on with our water. As you know, David, I just started a petition, Friendly for Humanity Technology, that benefits our health. And I think that we have great minds that can come together right now to really work on the issues of saving our water, because our water is the veins of our Mother Earth.
And from where you come from, there are some water issues that are affecting many indigenous people around the world, right, Sherry?
Well, absolutely. So relatives, are suffering from transformers going through the region. That with the radiation is a huge effect, and the uranium. There's also arsenic in the water as well. So there's definitely major water issues, and of course, my Lakota relatives and Standing Rock that are dealing with DAPL, but there's so many other pipelines, the Keystone, but many, many other pipelines, and also natural gas pipelines that need to be evaluated that are under our water systems as well.
So later on during the broadcast, we also have some special guests we invited to talk about the importance of water at the Water is Life conference. It includes Ken from the Water is Life Foundation. They delivered fresh water is one of the world's largest charities for fresh water, and it's helping deliver water to I believe more than 46 different countries to improve people's lives. And then we also have in the program with Ed Coban and Joanne Shenandoah. They were generous enough to provide us with um, um, pre-recording of their music. Joanne Shenandoah is a Grammy award-winning uh, musician that is indigenous to the Haudenosaunee, and she won so many Grammy awards. She's probably the world's most renowned indigenous musician, and her father goes back generations actually when the first the people from Mayflower landed on the shores of Turtle Island, they call it in North America. It was their family, the Shenandoahs, the chiefs that met them. So their lineage goes back way back, and we're very lucky to have her on the show to perform. Then we also have a panel discussion dealing with the Dakota Access Pipeline and pipelines around the world. And we invited some special guests, water protectors from the Standing Rock, and hopefully all of them, we sent out invitation, and many people answered, and hopefully they'll come on and we'll have a panel discussion to talk about the progress of protecting the waters at Standing Rock and around the world
And
through
I wasn't meaning,
pipelines.
oh, sorry,
Go
David, I'm
ahead,
not meaning to
Sherry.
interrupt you, and I wasn't meaning to turn my head. But on that note, actually, I'm getting a message on one of our guests later. So as you're speaking, I am not being rude by looking at this message. I just want you to know that it happens to be pertaining to what we're speaking on. So, and somebody trying to join us. So I'm going to just excuse myself for just a second to look at this message, David. And
Okay.
yes, so just excuse me for a second while I look at this.
Okay. So there is also, we also invited a company to talk about filters, water filters. They have incredible technology that can provide clean water to many people on the planet. There are two companies, the One World Filter Foundation. Their dream is to bring clean water to everyone on Earth using a new type of filtering technology. They're gonna be talking about it, and I hope Yan Ling comes back soon because we love to have her continue her meditation and provide the wisdom on the spirit of water, which is really necessary. Um, yeah, Yan Ling, yes, you were cut off for quite a long time. Uh, this is technology we're dealing with, right?
I guess a different frequency, isn't it? So sorry how long I was off.
You were talking about you were just started talking about the first virtue, and you just come.
Oh,
You were yes. So, would you like to just continue, with us?
oh yeah. I mean, that will be really interesting. That's super interesting. I will always say that technology runs different frequencies, and sorry for keep you waiting. I didn't notice. And yeah, can we continue that? And
Yes,
sorry
yes.
for
Please continue. Yes, please continue.
so we just enter the first virtue. That's a very interesting. As I mentioned, let's take it as life as rehearsal. Now we are in run. Um, anyone knows about Tao Te Ching? As I mentioned, the second most translated book besides Bible. We consider it takes lifetime to understand, but I would like to take the magic number 7 here to guide us and to share some of my lifetime's dissertation of the wisdom, which is still we consider 一知半解, really some piece and parts of it. And 7 virtues are considered to be capture the spirit of water. As we mentioned that today we do look for solutions to water, but without understand the spirit of water, we're still treating water as resources, something feed human needs, instead of really enter this planetary age that we live in, the echo centered age. Human just one part of the sentient being. This big shift's probably the number one most fundamental shifts that our ancestors, our generations to come will be thank us for if we can do that a great return from this very critical moments. So while we're talking about water, we usually come to solutions, technologies, and which I will guide that later. But let's continue to back the red track, 7 virtues. I started with 1, 居善地. Water originated always from the place close to heaven, as we know, and as a picture behind me, Mount Kailash originate 4 major rivers that nurture the human civilizations, and that's what revered by most belief systems, especially in Asia, which we believe also one of the most important points that original spiritual teachings as of today, and carry on lineages without stopping. And water probably carry lots of code from that. So water coming from the far and high up, but chose to going down to wherever it needs it. Because it's going down, it can be successfully reach the ocean, reach to the success by her or its definition. So number 1 leadership virtue is going down, 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 rather up, up, up. And this is virtue 1, spirit water. And spirit water virtue 2, 心善缘. As we believe that why there are many knowledge saints, sage, enlightened beings are so quiet, right? Some youthful spirits always found it very hard to understand. And if you observe water, the deeper the water goes, the more quiet it gets. And one of the virtue of water and reflecting human being behaviors is also, can we be quiet? Can we share knowledge when we really dive deep beyond the noise, beyond eagerness? 心善缘, respect the quietness and silence of some beings because their knowing might be more profound than a few quotes and few words that's very catchy and fashionable today. Can we listen to the quietness? 心善缘. Virtue 3, 与善人. What is considered to be the symbol of kindness? Because it's always giving, it's always contributing, and it has no discrimination, never ask for return. And is that's the symbol of how we're going to treat our social situations or not? And that's one of the virtues that really teach us how can we be giving without expecting return. That's virtue water, spirit water number 3. Number 4, virtue 4, 言善信. Water have to run to so many different landscapes, desert, rocks, green field. Then it creates different sounds. It creates different sounds according to different contexts, but it continues its own essence, never change. And that's part of the belief that how we can treat the differences in different cultures. Can we just be different because we are in different contexts and respectfully follow, but never lose where we came from, the essence of where we came from. That's considered to be spirit water virtue 4, 言善信. Spirit water virtue 5, 正善治. And this is one of the most important teaching for rulers, teachers, and leaders. To understand, to be able to consolidate all differences, become the real leader, there's something called a compromise. There's something we could call the doing and being, doing and non-doing balance. How can we do less, no effort, and be able to continue to treat the communities, corporations, and country as easy as water flow? And that is a technique and virtue that water teach so-called ruling class at ancient time. Today we call self-leaders of every sovereign beings of today. Virtue 6, spirit water, 是善能. You see, water can nurture life. It can really water the plants. We use it to wash our clothes. We even use it to generate power. We use it for transportations. It's multifunctional. It doesn't need to have a title. It is just wanna be of use. 是善能. Can we be like a water and never tagged into who you are, what you can do, but constantly transforming for the needs of your community wants, for the situation of today, and also continues to carry on the purpose of serving? And that's a really great virtue for leaders and today's catalysts, multi-polymath, to really consider. Virtue 6. And last but 7th, according to Taoist belief, we can master many things, but we must surrender one thing, is divine timing. And that's why, as a Taoist shaman, the only rule you have is to follow the celestial calendar, which guides you where and how to move. Because there's more danger of making hasty, unconsiderate actions than doing nothing. So the eagerness of any mover or shakers would like to do wonderful deeds for the world, but without great timing, that can be complete considered to be disaster. So be mastery of the timing, 动善时. A water knows where to stop to be a pound, and when to freeze in the winter, and when to rise up in the sky. So the transformation because of the time, and the radical transformation because of the time, and follow that. And all the 7 virtues can consume into one, which is of service. Spirit of water is of service. Simple. As we say, 大道至简, the most simplest truth contains all truths within. So 7 virtue is important for today, for all our social catalysts, innovators, all the people who want to make a change, especially concerned about the water issue of the world. I had a great talk with David before, and that's why I would love to contribute a little sparkle of this Eastern wisdom into this container, together with other original nations as one of the planetary being, but born, raised in China and Mongolia. We believe that before we do anything, the virtue is most important. Before we do anything, honor the spirit ancestor is more important. We are really coming to this age realizing that the doing need have another definitions. Is to understand, honor the holistic system, understand this is not a world, human-centric world can sustain. It is a holistic world that contains everything, and we have to honor that. So for that, I will leave this precious time to the doing part. And hopefully, when we can embrace the virtue of 7, spirit of water, we can really treat water not only resource we can consume and use, but it would definitely need it still. So we can honor it, but we still can find water and make the water available to the place and people that need it. For the next 15 minutes, I would like to really honor George and his family, tirelessly working on to bring water to the purified water into the places in the world. And George, are you there? And
Yes.
share your, he's a great friend, block-based supernode, have been presenting this great work in block-based in Davos, and also a musician. But today I think he will share his dream and his father's dream to bring water to the original nations. So George, please welcome.
Hello, Yan Ling.
Yes.
I'm very glad to be with you all, and I greet you all, and I hope I can share something. Can you see the...
Yes.
Can you see the...
Yes, we can see a screen, computer screen.
Yes, but
Yes.
not the PowerPoint, not?
Not yet.
No,
not yet.
Not yet. So, excuse me, 1 second, I'll ask for help.
So David, this London was a very fancy concert orchestrated, yeah? It's all like a living room technical hiccups. Very interesting.
Yeah, Yanling, thank you for sharing the wisdom, because original nations. When we're talking about original nations, for indigenous there are around 52 tribes in China themselves, of 129 million indigenous people. So it's quite large. So thank you. A lot of people do not know that. They think tribal nations or tribes only are in North America and South America, but it's worldwide. George, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you as well very much. And also I would like to mention that also I've had for many years contact with the Haudenosaunee and tried to help in the water problem there. So I will show you some pictures about the research. I will try it here to make it bigger. So, well, as Jan Link mentioned Emoto, maybe I just mention my path has been from the blood to the water. I started with blood microscopy, and then I met Dr. Emoto, and we have had for many years contact. And my son, he worked with him about 12 years. He has had a European lab from Hardo Life. And my way had been more not with the crystals. What we can see here, that is a crystal from a cricket sound. This is a crystal of the rock water. And we have a possibility to find water everywhere in the world. Even in the desert, it's most easy to find. And this water comes out of the rock. And already Moses hit on the rock, and maybe that was quite a knowledge in the same direction. Well, I will show here, for example, this is some water in Mecca, and you can see the different wells. They're all rock water wells, and it's a water star. Here we see it alive, and here we can see, for example, an oasis that is also a rock water always, and it has the same amount of water. For example, here you can see an oasis, and one could drill before and after and get water under high pressure. This was a science first being published by Stefan Ries, and then some other people went in his footsteps, and one was Anton Rieder, and I can show you, this is a drilling in Eritrea from him, where all people said there is no water. The scientists said there is no water. This is Stefan Ries, who was the first man who found this water. You can find in YouTube a lecture from him about 1 hour. I just will show you, or maybe first here, this is in Switzerland, a little city that has 5 wells of rock water, which Mr. Rieder found for them. Well, this is in Iran, it was in the Desert Lut, but we didn't have the right drilling equipment. You need a double head driller, and this was not possible to find. Here you see Mr. Rieder, and this is Norbert Ziebis, another scientist who first learned from Mr. Rieder, and then he developed this research quite much more perfect. Today, over Google Earth, he can find and tell the exact depths and quantity and so on. I will just show you a picture of a dried drop from Oasis, that is bottled water in Egypt, and you can see this beautiful lemniscates, and it's really a picture of life. Later on I will show you pictures where you can see how a dead water would look like. Well, I jump now. We made in Spain a project with 15 little lakes. You can see here in the Estremadura, and we try to find and show by this way over Google Earth where water is to find. And this is, for example, then the way how it is shown by Google Earth, that you can see where the water flows. And then by drilling, we make then photos from the place itself, and Norbert is guiding the drilling until it is on. Here you can see on different places where we have been drilling. Some words still about, you see here two different waters. One is vein water or rock water, and it doesn't mix because the density is different. And vein water, also the angle is a special angle between H and O. Here, for example, is a picture of a dried water drop where even the minerals show this structure of the water. Well, water has memory, and you can see, for example, this is a trilobite. It is a water drop of the ocean, and in the dried water drop you find the information still of a fossil that is since 1,000 years not anymore on this earth. This is not fishes, it are not fishes, it is also an information in a dried water drop. It looks completely like a fish, but it is just information. This is another dried water drop, and it looks like a plant, or just a river that is on the end where it dries, still shows similar formation. This is a formation done by sound from the word, and we also made crystal pictures of divine names, informed the water, maybe it comes still later, and maybe I show here, you see that even the animals, this is a drop of milk in the coffee, the shape of flow. And a friend, Gabriel Kellerman, he even could show with a certain frequency on the surface of a liquid, it came a human face. Here you can see the flow forms. Well, nowadays, this is our big problem with contaminated water. And you can see, for example, how not so nice waters. Here you have nice structures like plants, but you see there's a lot in the water what is not so nice, or even here like burnt out holes. For example, when a mobile antenna, it affects the water, and the water below looks like this. I will show you one method, for example, to change water. This is a osmosis water, and with a certain information, you get then the water with these structures again. This you can find under Supercoherence, Return to Love in the web page. And there's also information about this method. In earlier times, people knew how to store water under the best circumstances, or about the high frequency. For example, here, where the people did their washing before praying, it was done on golden lines. And this is a science here I just mentioned very shortly, it is biogeometry, science of Dr. Karim in Egypt, and we have a lot of research together, and I'm learning very much from him. With him, we made the divine names. We informed with a certain amount of divine names, the water, and then we got the crystals of it. And the interesting thing was that the effect on the human body was the same by looking at the crystals like by reciting the divine names. This is, for example, a very beautiful crystal from the divine name God as Light, Nur. And we leave this subject now, just showing a short photo about the effects of biogeometry. You can see that this is a potato, sweet potato with fresh water, this with salt water, and this with biogeometry and salt water. So this is a very interesting research, how, especially for our time, it is the science about the quality of physics, not only the quantity. I show you now some pictures again of different waters. Also, this is a tear, for example, and this is a body water of a burnt piece where the water is then on a finger. This is under nuclear influence. It's not very nice, but this is a drinking from the tap water taken. Now, I will show you some beautiful waters. This is also a body water. So you see, our body needs form-giving life, form-giving forces. This is from the womb of a mother giving birth, and this is a drop of water out of the space Yuri Gagarin gave to a Haudenosaunee elder. This, you see, is very strong waters from Austrian mountains, from a village. Very powerful waters. This is, for example, water from Fiji Island. This is healing water. This is healing water. This is water with the influence of gold information. That's also a very strong water. And now this is with influence of rosemary. And here we have very interesting forms always. Whereas when the water is not, for example, here a beautiful pictures how a healing water can look like, of a drop that is just right. So this would be still a very long conference, and I would like to finish with that we shall take the water in our heart and mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, George. Where can we find more information about each one of you, where you're working on, what each one of you, what you're working on, so they can find more information from George and also Yan Ling? Like, is there a website for this?
Well,
Yes, I think the for the project, I would like to really strengthen a few things. Also, a way to say goodbye. One is when you mention about my multi-title. One of the core concept we talk about investment is how we can use like philanthropy, spiritual philanthropy, in digital currency, and really impact in resources to support a personal planetary upgrade. And that's one of the block-based vision, and that's where I founded, and that's where lots of planetary projects, which including this one George has shared, will be able to find. It's at davosblockbase.com. But second thing, I think George is such a real magician, so he didn't mention that one of his driving forces about doing this research and doing the cross-pollinating all these knowings and talents is to really bring the drilling technology and this understanding water to Lakota Nation, right? That was a part of his father's dream. So I hope some of the intentions here can find the resources too, so that those we are interested can be in touch with us, of course, with LiveHOPE through David. Before we go, I'd love to really honor, like, water is considered to be yin process, right? The feminine, divine feminine. So I saw the rosemary has a heart shape, including all the green taras chanting also have the mother words. So today we come back to spirit water again. So in honor of that, I would like to say goodbye. If you find more information through this platform and through Davos Blockbase, it's all great. Yeah, thank you.
So sorry I didn't was having some technical difficulties earlier, but such a pleasure listening to you and your heart. Sherry Lewis here, and I would like to follow through more with what you mentioned with our Lakota relatives, as I do have Lakota relatives, and also I believe that even spreading through the other nations throughout would be amazing as well. So thank you so much for your time on that. And George, I was just astonished by your work and what you just showed through your slides, and just amazing seeing water in that way where people can really visualize what was spoken about earlier, and through the spirituality, and really visualize that through the physics. So that is just remarkable. And thank you for that. I hope you all can still hear me, because my screen looks frozen. My face looks frozen, but I hope
Yes.
you
We
can
hear you
me.
very well.
Okay.
Yeah. May I say a last short thing? Well, was not the Lakota. It's now the Navajo nation. But as we are
Yes.
water, and when we see the beauty of our body waters, for example, this is a picture of saliva, and you can see on the left side a sick person, and then after being centered, how the saliva changed. And this is a picture of some drops of blood on a paper, and then you put this paper in a little bit of water, and then you look the water drops under the microscope, and what you see is a life force. And after a whole day of hard work, you see the life force, how it is less. And then after 1 hour meditation, the life force is back.
Wow.
So what we have to understand, really, we are water, and we have to have this life force energies in us. And food is important, meditation, good air, and so on. And we can make it visible. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. I mean, George, I'm looking for your face here. There you are. So I think I'm still frozen. And I wanted to thank you again for that. And my extended, I was speaking earlier with David on which is the Navajo reservation, where we're definitely in need. And my relatives out that way, you have the uranium that's in the water. The water is affected also by the radiation. which is a big thing right now with all the transformers running through. And then, of course, we have arsenic in the water. So it is wonderful where your heart is. And I just thank you both so tremendously and so much.
Thank
and
you.
thank you all
Thank you
very
all.
much.
David, can I offer
Thank-
the Green Tara's mantra, as we mentioned, to wrap it up?
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
so
Beautiful.
basically we mentioned about how mantra, music, and sound really tremendously, visibly can help us to restore our life force, and that's George have said them. And since today is the Lakshmi Day, and we're really blessed by such a feminine life force. So many people have been asking me when I was chanting Om Tara Tutale Ture Soha, the green taras, the leading 21 manifestations of divine feminine, what that means. So I would like to offer this to her and to all the sentient beings, and for all the one in this sacred space, and especially working towards the divine feminine rising, to explain that what's Om Tale Tutale Tula Soha is. It's Om is primordial sound, the infinite. Tale, Divine Mother who liberates from sufferings. Tutale, one who eliminates all fears. Ture, one who grants all successes. Soha, may the blessing of this mantra take root in our hearts. And Om Tale Tutale Ture Soha. Om Tale Ture Soha. Om Tale Ture Soha. Om Tale Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soham. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soham. Om Tare Tu Tare Soham. Blessing. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you for blessing all of us.
Thank you. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you so much. Look forward to speaking with you
This is
again in
just
the
the beginning
future.
of the birth, right? Thanks so much for your work.
That's right.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. So
Bye.
next we have with us is Ken from the Water is Life Foundation. And he has been instrumental in bringing fresh water to many countries and communities around the world. And also, not only does he bring water, he also has orphanages actually, and he helps many orphans. And he is organizing many orphanages. And is he on now?
Sherry.
Hello, Ken. You know what, guys? I'm gonna sign out and sign back in. Am I still frozen, or can you
You're
guys
frozen
see
still.
me okay, or am I frozen? Okay, so I'm gonna sign out and jump back in. So
No worries.
excuse me very quickly here with these little difficulties, but so
Great to
nice.
see you.
Ken, would you like to introduce your background? It doesn't do you justice when I introduce you.
Oh no, that's fine. Yes. Yeah, I'm my name is Ken. I'll tell you my story here in just a minute. I've got a slide deck to go through, but I founded Water's Life about a decade and a half ago, and I drilled my first well. So it all revolves around an experience and going to Kenya, and my eyes getting opened up. It's intriguing. I was by Georgian. I don't remember the lady's name. Yulan, is that right? That was just on.
Yan Ling Duan, yeah.
Yan Ling, yeah. The the thing that you see so vividly when you look at those water droplets and the crystals is that water truly has a life of its own. And since the dawn of mankind, people have gravitated toward water because water is life. And so we created Water is Life as a tool for people to be able to help accomplish the goal of ending the world water crisis. Our goal is to end the world water crisis in the next decade. And we believe that we have technology, we have resources, we just need the manpower and the resources to be able to put the different technologies that are already existing and those that are being created into place. One of the cool things for us at Waters Life is we get to work with a lot of high school, college, even down to elementary age students. And we get to be able to see what's coming up with the next generation and the passion that they have to help make a difference and help bring life-changing and life-saving solutions to the rest of the world. So it's been real exciting for me to see. One of the things that Oh, hey Sherry, how are you doing? You made it back. You're moving again.
I can move. Okay.
There you go. Fantastic. But yeah, one of the things that that makes Waters Life a little different from other water charities is we work with a lot of other groups and organizations. We feel like it's necessary for all of us to come together, to work together, to be able to bring palatable solutions to the people today that are at risk. Globally around the world today, 6,000 people will die because they don't have safe water. 5,000 of those are kids. So we work with a lot of kids. We work with a lot of orphanages and schools, community centers, churches, all kinds of different areas where people naturally kind of come together. And we bring those water solutions in there. What I'd love to do is just kind of give you an overview of Waters Life, what we're doing. We've got some fun videos and things to share with you. So let me see if I can get, see. Okay, got it. Okay. Let's see, okay. Let's see if I can get in there. Nope, hang on, I got it on another desktop, so it's not gonna come over.
Ken is way ahead of his time because the Water is Life Foundation set up 10 years ago, Sherry. So isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I was thinking that such, it's, well, when you were explaining to me, David was explaining to me about your work, and I was very excited, I was very happy to have you here speaking on these topics. And he mentioned Water is Life, but he said he really wants to start working with our Indigenous nations here. And so when you said that, I thought to myself, wow, he was Water is Life as this, before the movement at Standing Rock, even though that actually really was already going on 10 years
right.
prior, but before the phrase kind of started going around. Yeah. So that's great.
Right, and we trademarked. We have the trademark for Waters Life, and so I had several people that would send me notes and say, "Hey, are you mad these guys are using Waters Life?" I said, "Why should I? That's the truth. Water is life. We need to let people know that." And they were less than tickled to death with me. But does this need to be in a Chrome tab to be able to show, or will it show up on screen?
David,
Chrome has lost. Follow these steps. Shoot. Okay.
I obviously have technical difficulties.
You could, you could use a Chrome tab if you're on your Zoom in a Chrome tab. You have to just.
I'm on your whatever the stream
you have to
thing
share
is.
the screen.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, I'm on this the
when you share the
StreamYard.
screen. Alice.
Reference security.
Alice is my.
She said. Alice said Chrome tab.
Chrome tab. Well, it's running in Keynote,
Angel,
so I'm not sure how to run it into a Chrome tab.
Alice,
let's see here.
Alice, Ken wants to share the screen.
Yes, Chrome tab is best. However, application.
Can you hear us, Alice?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I can hear you. Allow the app to record the content.
He could share application, and he could share screen. He has choices.
Well, I hit screen share, and it says share the screen, I click the application window and I go over to Keynote, and it says Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. Follow these steps.
So then choose the Chrome tab instead of application.
Well, but it's not in a Chrome tab, honey. It's in
share screen instead.
Okay, well, that's what I was trying to do. So let's see, share screen. Share entire screen. Let's just do that. It won't let me do that. Okay, follow the steps. Ay. Okay.
That's called technology. We're all learning, Ken, from this.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
We might have to go back to Zoom. We go in between. Sometimes Zoom works for us, sometimes StreamYard.
Zoom works. Yeah, Zoom works a whole lot better for me, but that's just my deal. So I was trying to get it to do it, but it won't. It's not going to let me.
Darn.
Interesting.
Sherry, tell me a little bit about your story, because Sherry is one of the 3 peacemakers of us. Myself, I'm one. Sherry is another. Tell me about your experience, why you went to Standing Rock to protect the water. So while Ken is trying to figure this out.
Oh, wow.
What was the calling, Sherry? What was the calling?
Well, that calling was definitely a spirit-led calling. My ancestry. So my mom, Marianne Flores, is Lipan Apache, Kolatakikan, and Scott Irish. My father is Welsh, Clarence Henry Lewis Jr. He's gone on his way now. And so my ancestry was just very strong within me. The way that I grew up, though, I saw the colonization in my own home. God rest my father's soul. He definitely was doing what he had been taught, but I witnessed things with the transformation put onto my mother. And anyway, it's something that I really can't even put into words. It was just through my life. I've had my ancestors that have been there, and it wasn't though until later in my life when I really started listening a lot better and tuning in and realizing the way that the walk and purpose was supposed to be directed through my life as a mother, and now as a grandmother. So it was definitely a calling through spirit, and I had gone through a major tragedy right before I went to Standing Rock, and I made a call to my Shema, and it was in the sense of, speaking over how our people were going to start rising by the hundreds and the hundreds, thousands, and just really coming together, and the unity that needed to happen to protect our water, to protect our humanity. And of course, water is one of the biggest fundamentals of all humanity, right? So that message just came in clearly, and I shared it, and I was invited to come to Standing Rock. And the walk has not stopped, has not slowed down. And has continued ever since with my relatives and my extended relatives, and finding my own ancestry through the assimilation process, so that our culture went through. So it was
the water.
That's how I ended up there.
Did the water call you to go to Standing Rock, or the people called you, you think?
So how I was putting that, David, was in the sense that water is the life source. It's the veins for Mother Earth, for our humanity. So the call was for humanity and protecting our humanity, which the water is the main source of life, between air and our water. So the call came for humanity and for protection of humanity as a whole, and coming together with our nations. And that encompasses the water hugely. Yes.
Mhm.
That's what that is.
Yeah. So, the presentation is hopefully is coming on.
Did you see? Can you see it?
I see
Yes, now we can see it.
waterislife.com, and
Perfect.
I think I'm frozen again.
Oh no!
But I will hop right back in. I'll hop right back in, and we'll start the presentation.
No problem. Thanks.
Can you want to start your presentation?
You bet. You bet. Well, one of the things that I'd like to start with is just kind of sharing my story a little bit. And it all
Okay.
began standing naked in the shower in Nairobi. I don't know if you can see the feet in the shower, but I'm assuming that everything's working okay. Are you able to see the slides advance?
Yes, very clearly. Ken start.
Okay. All right. Great. Great. Well, I was up in the northern part of Kenya, South Sudan, working with the Turkana people group, nomadic group of people, beautiful folks, absolutely amazing people, but definitely hurting in the areas, especially of water, but just basic life needs. And I became overwhelmed. You know, we would come across kids begging for water alongside the road. We took a big rota tank full, and we would stop along the way, and we fill up these little kids' bottles with water. And it was like they were running back to their little hut with a bag of gold. I mean, it was a precious resource. And one of the things that really touched me was just seeing their response to how precious water was to them. I love little kids. We've built a bunch of orphanages around the world, and I love kids and love monkeying around with them. And it's a little boy this lady had. He was about a year and a half old, and I'm talking to him. We're playing, and I'm getting him to laugh and giggle and stuff. And then through an interpreter, I asked the mom, some questions. I asked her one question, then she gets this really puzzled look on her face, and she turns back to the interpreter, and she tells him some information. The interpreter looks at me and says, the question I asked was, what's his name? And when that questioned look came on her face, I was going, oh, I must have asked the wrong question or done something wrong. And he said, Ken, he says, the little boy doesn't have a name. He will probably die. I said, what? I said, yeah, the reality that these people live in is that 1 in 5 children in sub-Saharan Africa will die before they reach the age of 5. So, those kind of things start as you're processing them and going back. There are a lot of things that happened, and I'm standing there in the shower watching the water go down the drain, and that's when it hit me. Ken, water is life here. The people would give anything to have the water you're just letting go down the drain. And at that point, I made a decision. I had a great idea, bring water to these people. But, that aha moment for me standing in the shower wasn't enough. You've got to take that sudden realization, that aha moment, and turn it into something that makes a difference and makes an impact. Like the folks at Standing Rock, they're making a statement, they're making an impact. Because they've chosen to take action on an idea. So for me, while I'm watching that water go down the drain and the realization that we could bring water to these people, a few months later, I went back, drilled my first well, and now we're in over 47 countries around the world with water, sanitation, and hygiene. And I want to introduce you to a really cute little guy. This is my buddy. This is Kaitoli. Kaitoli is a little Maasai boy. He is 4 years old at this point. And one of the things that we wanted to do was communicate the information, which is horrible information. 1 in 5 children dying before they reach the age of 5, but do it in a positive way. And so I don't know if you guys remember the movie The Bucket List, but it had Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, and there were 2 old guys in the hospital, and they were writing down all of these things they wanted to do before they kicked the bucket, hence the bucket list. And so we took a little spin on that. And what we did is we created a 4-year-old bucket list, if you will. So this is Kaitoli's story. What's been really cool about Kaitoli's little story is he's been able to influence a lot of people around the world. Millions of people have seen his little story, and a lot of people have gotten involved and they've donated. And so we've been able to drill water wells in his area. Back there's Kaitoli getting some water for his animals right there. And we've been because of the response, we've been able to drill not only a super deep water well right there in his village, but also put distribution points inside to other villages all around the area there and to a school that's there. Just a little bit about the footprint of Water's life and the global impact. We are very excited about what the new days and this next year promises to hold. For us, we deal with two key areas: water quality and water scarcity. Water scarcity would mean that there is no water. A well's dried up, or a river's dried up, a aquifer's dried up. Water quality is dealing what most of us deal with, and that is, because we live close to water, we have it, but it's not safe to drink. In fact, in the United States, a third of the U.S. lives with lead levels that exceed EPA standards. Most people don't realize that. That's 110 million people living with lead levels in their water that exceed EPA standards. Just to give you a quick overview, 97% of the, 97% of the water on the planet is salt water. Our planet's covered in 75% water. Of that, most of that is in our oceans. We have 2% of the fresh water that's in the polar ice caps, and that leaves 7.5 billion people and climbing competing for less than 1% of the surface water that's available on the planet. We are definitely in a crisis as we see cities blacking out. There's close to 2 billion people who don't have access to safe drinking water today. So for us at Water's Life, we have a variety of different tools, techniques, and things that we use to bring people the water that they need. These are some of our little straw filters that we provide to a lot of students around the world that provides about 500 liters of water through a little straw system that makes the water safe to drink, killing the capturing the bacteria and viruses out of the water. We also use some nanotechnology and create real simple filters. We do a lot of drilling. We also have some solar and wind powered water treatment plants that got about 500 of those around the world, providing millions of liters of water every day. This is from an installation up in Tibet that we did 2 years ago. We also have some new technology that's coming out. This is a atmospheric water generator that we have created that captures water from the air and uses that water then to provide safe drinking water for the communities. At Waters Life, we believe in the power of social media, so much so because we've seen firsthand what can happen. We took a popular hashtag from Twitter. Now we all love social media. You know, we take pictures of our cat and our dog and the food we ate this morning. We put it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and we do all of those things. So, you know, it's fun playing with it, but it's also a great tool that we can use. But what we did was we took a hashtag that was real popular a couple of years ago called First World Problems. And those first world problems, those whiny little things that most people nag and complain about in a first world country, the people in the third world country are going, what? Is that really what you're upset about? And so this is the anthem commercial from the First World Problems hashtag killer we created. It's a pretty amazing little guy there at the end. His name's Ricardo. He's one of the students there in the orphanage in Haiti that we help, and pretty amazing story. That whole campaign was created by a group out of New York, all pro bono. They came over to Haiti and filmed for a few days and helped us with the drilling project and did all kinds of stuff. And then created that. It's been the last report I got. It's been viewed over 750 million times, almost a billion views on that. One of the things that impacted me early on was a gentleman named Zig Ziglar. He's a motivational speaker that really touched me when I was in my 20s. He made the statement. He says, "You can get everything in everything in life that you want if you just help enough other people get what they want." One of the things that differentiates Water's Life from other groups and organizations is that we take volunteers with us. We want people to go, to roll up their sleeves, to get involved, to go help bring water into a community and to make it possible for a community to have the life's basic building block, and that's water. And it's amazing when you're able to see the lights come on for people that maybe have never gone overseas before or never helped out on a mission project and helped to take care of needs of people. It's amazing to see how the lights come on for them, and it makes a huge difference and a huge impact in their life. Let's see here. Go ahead and stop that. But for us at Water's Life, what we want to do is our goal is to end the world water crisis, whether it's through utilizing some simple technology that eliminates bacteria and viruses from drinking water, to community-wide systems that will bring hope and help to so many people. As of today, we've given out over 6 billion liters of water. On our website, it says 5 billion liters of water. It's actually about double that, but we keep it down because we figure about half of what's, everything gets used about half of what you think it's going to get used. So it's pretty amazing. The amount of lives that we're able to touch was just something as simple as maybe a straw filter, or coming into their community with some home systems that would provide safe drinking water for them.
Thank you so much for that, Ken, from
You
your
bet.
foundation and your dream. And we can see the progression of your dream from just an idea to something that saves millions of lives, is because polluted water, a lot of people do not know, takes probably how many lives does it how many people are dying from clean water
Today there'll be 6,000. Yeah, today there'll be 6,000 people die because of unsafe drinking water. It's amazing.
Yeah, we cannot let that happen. Right.
No.
Right.
We live in a world with an abundance of material wealth. We have technology. We just need the resources and the people that are willing to roll up their sleeves and go do something. We have some amazing people that work with Water's Life all around the world. We've got some really great things that are happening in South and Central America right now. We are working with several different groups to provide, hang on just a second, to provide some relief for groups here in the United States. We're working with the cities in California right now. I've worked with the Navajo Nation. I am part Cherokee, so I have a real passion. We live here in close to the capital of the Cherokee Nation. So it's been an amazing journey for us to see the need for water, the respect for water that some people have, but the total lack of respect that a lot of people do. We throw stuff still in the river and say, well, somebody else will have to deal with that downstream. But yet we all should be responsible for what we put into the water, and what we take out of the water. What we want to do is we want to just help people raise awareness to what the needs are globally around the world, as well as what's happening here at home.
That's great. Also interesting is that from the Creators 2030 or Listen Give Initiative, who is our partner helping us organize this event, Gail Davis is 50% Cherokee.
Yes.
So there's a huge so you have a sister here.
Awesome. That's
Also.
fantastic. That's fantastic. David, are there
also,
questions, that you may have for us at Water's Life?
yes. Yes, the main thing is that we're looking to more
She's
indigenous,
back.
to help more indigenous nations, the communities.
Hmm.
And our goal is that, and we want to partner with Waters Life to be able to do that, because by uniting and sharing resources and manpower, I think we can end this water crisis of much more quickly than working alone. Right, Sherry?
Exactly.
Well, yes, one of the things that I often say, Ken, is I was very happy to see what you were putting out as I was going back and forth with these technical difficulties now operating off my phone. So thank you
Oh
for
no.
um, but one of the things that I definitely wanted to mention is I often say that I believe that water kills more people than guns.
It
And
does.
everybody talks about guns and it's this, but actually our water is our life source and really is bringing so much trauma over people's lives because um, of us as human beings not necessarily uh, working in the ways that we should, or some
Exactly.
right, and it's a responsibility. So I am very honored
To
to
y-
have you on.
yeah, to your point, Sherry, I was sitting with some of the executives at Johnson and Johnson not too long ago, and they give over $1 billion to hospitals and clinics globally around the world. And I said, guys, I said, I know you're passionate about hospitals, and I know that this is something that's one of your projects. I said, but we could empty most of the hospital beds today by doing one thing. And they looked at me like I had horns. And I said, look, 75 to 80% of the hospital beds in developing countries right now, according to the World Health Organization, are occupied by people that have waterborne disease. We bring one thing, we bring safe water to the people, and we eradicate most of the people that are in hospital beds today won't be there, and they're able to deal with other things. It's a huge global health problem when you have children dying every 21 seconds because of waterborne disease. It is a crisis.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. And here we have, like you were touching on that as well. It's just a different environment that is causing the water crises in certain ways, but still crisis is happening very much so in our communities here as well that have been covered up. And you think, wow, how is this even happening? I mean, oil spills where they'll
Yeah,
not report it and take gravel and just fill it right over the
fill it
gravel,
right back up. Yep.
fill it right there, and you can stick your arm through the gravel, pull it up, and your arm's covered in oil. The fish
Yep.
have tumors, the dogs are getting tumors, the people are getting sick. So it's a thing. And like I said, in on Navajo Nation right now, or with our Dene relatives, we have the uranium in the water, the
Yep.
arsenic in the water. So there's definitely we have so much to address with our life and for all humanity. And when I say humanity, that includes our wildlife as well.
Yep.
Our game is poisoned, and I also will talk about the correlation with the gut and the brain, and
Mm-hmm.
how now calling Alzheimer's diabetes 3, and
Yeah.
how what we put into our system, how you were speaking on that, what we put into our system affects our whole body. So
It
if
does.
we're eating poisonous foods, right, and the water source isn't correct, or our game is getting poisoned from fracking, then it's going to affect us all the way around, including our minds.
Yes.
So I
One of
think
the things that's a great tool, if people want to go look up and see what's in their water,
mhm.
there is a site. It's ewg.org. Hang on here. Let me see if I can throw this up real quick. Yeah, so ewg.org will tell you what's in your water. What you do is you put your, let's see here. I can get that back over to, there it is. Yeah. I don't know if you can you see that? What's in your water?
Okay, let's go
Now I
check.
can. Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, if you can go to that website, there is a place where you can click and you can look at your water. You just put in your zip code. You don't have to put in your name, address, or anything like that. You just put in your zip code and then choose your local water supply. You'll be fascinated by what is in the water. A lot of it is there'll be agricultural things. There'll be things that we add to the water to make it kind of better, and yet we wind up putting carcinogens in the water that are going to kill us all. So it's really eye opening to be able to
Right.
look in there to see what's in your water. But like we have great water here, but there are 6 carcinogens that are added to our water to kind of make it safe. And I'm going, hold it, you're putting cancer causing chemicals in our
Mhm.
water to keep it clean from the water treatment plant to the tap. It just doesn't make any sense. In one of the greenest countries in the world, we do some work down in Costa Rica with some people right there that are disenfranchised along the Panamanian and Costa Rican border, and they have they're one of the greenest planets or one of the greenest countries in or countries. They are 100% renewable energy, and yet they have the second highest rate of stomach cancer in the world per capita because
Wow.
of the chlorine that's added to their drinking water. Because of the pipes and the infrastructure, they throw a lot of chlorine in the water. That chlorine then sets up a carcinogenic environment in your body, and your body responds to it. Water and the right kind of water is critically important to all of us. One of the things that I encourage people to do is look at your water and then look at alternatives, what you can do. How can you raise the pH in the water? How can you remove the contaminants in the water and make it safer and better for yourself? If we are at a 7.5 pH, we drink water that's below 7.5, and it creates a carcinogenic environment in our bodies. We drink it above 7.5, and it helps to combat cancer in our bodies. I mean, it's just one of those things that happens. Eating the right kinds of foods, drinking the right kind of water, it all makes sense. Thank you guys for what you're
Just to
doing. We
be
really
aware,
appreciate it, man.
Ken, Sherry also uses
Yes.
a lot of water because she is a formulator for cosmetics, and the water is so important to her.
Oh yeah,
And she has her own cosmetic, a beauty line at difference.green. And yeah, so she's really into water, a different type of structure water, and
right.
actually learning more about water.
And,
But you find out all those chemicals that we throw in our water are not good for the cosmetics either.
well,
She's frozen
and the
again,
thing is,
I
unfortunately.
think we lost her.
yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I want to touch on that though a little bit, David. I actually don't use water at all in my formulation. So but I do, for the intake and obviously for taking care of your health and walking in the lines that
We cannot hear you
are, and
well.
water should be available for even be the lightest where children are dying right now because of the water, how much we can actually bring to the table. One of the things that I did start recently was a petition called Friendly for Humanity Technology that benefits us because we have technology that it does, but a lot of this technology is actually aiding to the pollution. And I'm, talking about radiation.
Yep.
Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me
No,
It's
no,
now?
not that.
it's breaking up, yeah, but we've got you now, yeah.
Yeah, it's with this technology of Wi-Fi and
Sorry,
everything.
can you hear me?
Issues. Yes. Yeah, you're breaking up, Sherry. Maybe you should try turn off your video just to we can hear you.
What about now?
No.
Did I?
I think Ken.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for
Hey, thank you guys.
coming on, and we like to partner with you more closely because we're bringing 1,000 indigenous nations together to create a new federation of nations, and water is at the center of it. So
Absolutely,
and
absolutely. And you look at the SDGs according to the United Nations, everything really is pivotal around water, in my opinion. And so, we're honored to be here today with you. Look forward to working with you in the future. If people need more information, they can find us on Facebook, Instagram, on the World Wide Web. waterislife.com is our web address. But we'd love to begin a conversation with others that are like-minded or who have needs. We have been working on and off with the Navajo Nation now for a couple of years, and look forward to our work continuing with them and other indigenous groups here within the United States. But we thank you, David, for what you guys are doing, bringing awareness and helping to educate people about the impact that water can have. But thank you guys for your time today.
thank you. Just a last question, to add to our
Yes, sir.
blueprint for.
Oh, I'm here, guys.
She's back.
Right.
I
What
came
would
back
you like
on
to
through my
contribute to that
computer this
blueprint?
time.
This
Oh
blueprint
my
is going
God.
towards the United Nations, and this blueprint is going to nations and also all the indigenous communities worldwide that would be implementing this blueprint. What would you like to put in that blueprint?
Fantastic. I think probably from our perspective. Can you hear me?
I think David froze now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
But I'm
Yeah.
listening to you, and then I want to touch on what we were talking about before I froze. But yes, oh, sorry, Ken.
Yeah, to us, it's the people that make this possible. We can bring technology, we can bring certain things to different groups and organizations, but it's the people within. Once they make that jump, once they are able to provide for themselves, we try to build into what we're doing the opportunity for people to regain dignity, because we can give the man a fish and he eats for a day. We can teach a man to fish and he'll eat the rest of his lifetime. And so what our goal is to help those people locally to be able to make a better life for themselves. If we can be a tool and an asset to them, that's great. We can help make recommendations, and that's great. But it really comes back to each individual and tapping into the heart of the people that we're working with. So my encouragement on the blueprint is don't just mass people, but deal with the individuals, deal with individual communities, individual homes, and one-on-one with people. But thank you guys, Sherry, David, thank you for all that you're doing. And we look forward to taking you with us on a trip one day with Water's Life.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that. And yes, and I think that you'll find in our regions here, we're up a little bit more of a different kind of obstacle in certain ways, because you have the responsiveness of the people, but you have certain bureaucracies that have to,
Sure.
and challenges on that end
Yep.
that unfortunately are holding our people back here.
Right.
So, but yes, I take you up on the offer, and am up for the challenges of walking in this way and getting clean water to our global community around the world. So
Fantastic. Thank you guys. Look forward to the days ahead working together with you.
blessings to you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, David, so we're back.
Yes, we're back.
Okay.
So the next segment is that we're gonna put on some music for people to enjoy. Right, the two musicians that we put on is Ed Coban and Joanne Shenandoah, who was, they were both kind enough to provide us with a pre-recorded video that they made for us, and we're gonna play that. They are Grammy Award and NAMI Native American Award winning artists. They are some of the most renowned indigenous musicians in the world. Renowned, that means that they're well known. It doesn't mean that they're the best, because there's many indigenous musicians who are really great, but they have been able to have that breakthrough to the mainstream music world.
And I would like to correct
Anything?
you on that David. They are one of the best. So they are the best in their own right and one of the best. So we are very, very happy to play their music and have them on.
Okay, let's hear their music.